station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did this little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
Power. It's always the first priority.
Dan niet de stream, mensen. We hebben alles checken. Check op. Voordat we gaan pompen naar Wave 1000. Je weet het.
Here we are. We've analyzed nearly every Treyarch Zombies game. It started off with bare bones World at War, then evolved into the significantly better Black Ops, then slipped into a quick identity crisis with the equally spectacular and impressive Black Ops 2, until the mode's peak was reached with a nearly flawless, highly expansive Black Ops 3. This, of course, brings us to Black Ops 4, which is set to release on October 12, 2018. Over a year since the debut of Zombies Chronicles. Now, the fact that I've already labeled BO3 as the absolute peak is really a tell that things only go downhill from here, which they unfortunately very much do. This game has some good, don't get me wrong, and we're actually going to touch upon those things instead of just outright shitting on the game like I did in that unhinged rant I uploaded years ago, but I'll warn you in advance, there's going to be a lot of negativity, because this game exudes negativity far greater than any of its peers. I'll also preface this total dismantling with the fact that in a vacuum, devoid of any context, and I mean, there's plenty of fun and good times to be had. It's when context is injected, and when compared to its peers, most notably its direct predecessor BO3, that you start to piece together how truly disappointing this game was relative to its high expectations, and how much of a mess Black Ops 4 Zombies is. I actually want to start off with this clip of Lex reacting to my previous analysis on BO3 of all things. I thought he made an interesting point that I thought would be a perfect way to open up this video.
I don't think Revelations was supposed to exist, and here's why. Black Ops 4 was a game to exist to literally release the Great War map, and it never happened, which means Black Ops 4 is a filler game. It is a filler game. If the whole purpose was for the Great War map to come out and it didn't come out, it's filler. It serves no purpose. Which is why, chat, in some other different timeline that we live in, DLC 4 for Black Ops 3 was the Great War map. And it probably could have been one of the greatest Zombies maps of all time. And BO4 was only chaos.
In other words, the reason why BO4 ever existed in the first place was to extend the Black Ops series lifespan just a bit further with one more game. Because really, if they can, why wouldn't they? Another year of Call of Duty is another year of bank, baby. They can sell Black Ops with ease. It could be Black Ops 6, 7, 8, however fucking far in the future they're willing to go. You're likely still going to buy it and try it. It's a vicious cycle of misery I used to participate in on an annual basis until I finally drew the line in the sand with Vanguard, which turned out to be a great decision given it's legit the worst COD ever. So, with potentially billions of more dollars to gain, Activision, not so much Treyarch, important distinction there, set their sights on the production of BO4, which ended up shafting the production of Revelations, which, as we know, ended up being quite possibly the most underwhelming Zombies map ever, given the build-up and expectations, given what should have been the Great Apothecan War. Instead, that epic conclusion gets carelessly tossed into DLC 3 with this slowly animated cutscene, and that's the other thing. All of their production went towards the future, yet they couldn't even match the high-quality CGI cutscenes BO3 did. Wasn't the payoff of an anticlimactic Revelation supposed to at least be elite cutscenes for the next game? I just don't get it. On one hand, there were whisperings of budget cuts and staff cuts during the production, but again, in theory, they should have been locked and loaded towards BO4 given they shortchanged BO3. It never quite added up. I think one potential explanation could be Blackout, the new Battle Royale mode that launched with this game. It certainly shifted a lot of the devs' attention away, so much so that the campaign never saw the light of day. So it's highly possible that Blackout's production negatively impacted Zombies 2.
Whatever the case may be, Zombies production felt compromised, not only at the end of BO3, but with BO4 as a whole too, which gave this game a huge disadvantage from the beginning. Usually I analyze each map one by one, but this video's gonna naturally deviate from that, given there were 4 maps at launch. Let me repeat, 4 maps! Usually we only get 1 or 2, but this game more than doubled that. This was all very exciting at first, because on paper, 4 maps is greater than 1. There's simply more content, which is true upon first glance, until you begin to see the lasting effects of it, starting with community division. The Zombies community, comprised of you, the very person watching this, playing the games, is usually joined at the hip with 1, maybe 2 maps to start off with. Not only providing a bigger sense of unity, but clearly establishing exactly which experience to focus on, and what direction the game is moving in. For example, with BO3's launch, we were all playing Shadows of Evil, trying to learn the ropes and complete the Easter egg, which tied the whole community together in a clear direction. Sure, people were also playing the Giant, but that was a direct remaster, so it's something we'd already experienced, therefore not really taking away from Shadows. The duality of those 2 maps is healthy for the game, but the way BO4 did it felt overwhelming and confusing. The 4 base maps of this game are Voyage of Despair, 9, Blood of the Dead, and Classified as a bonus with the Black Ops Pass, which, mind you, costs $50 as a standalone, essentially forcing a smart person to buy the deluxe edition to save money. Like, I get it, Activision, you're greedy whores, but this was a bit of an overkill, especially when combined with the scummy microtransactions. The new alternative to the perfectly functional Gobblegum system are now elixirs, which will be converted from their new currency, Nebulium Plasma? It appears fine until you realize it's inflated to manipulate you into believing you're gaining more when you're really not. The elixirs are also just so fucking lame, not nearly as cool or as identifiable as the gum, which were instantly iconic when they debuted in BO3. It's a prime example of the recurring theme of this game. Pointless innovation. Change for the sake of change, and not genuine improvement. I'm really not lying or joking when I say that I've legit never used a single mega elixir the entire time I've owned this game. Not to mention whatever the fuck these talismans are. I legit never equipped them. Just the somewhat helpful classics. It has a lot to do with me not playing the game so much in the first place, but I also just don't respect the change and feel zero urge to use them, especially given the recharge takes an eternity. So before you even start the game up, you're already paying close to, if not $100 for a game with no campaign in it, somehow even worse, even more manipulative microtransaction system. You tell me if this game has a sturdy foundation or not. The 4 maps we get at launch are divided into 2 different stories. The familiar Ether storyline we've been following along since the very beginning of World at War with Blood of the Dead and Classified, and an entirely new and separate Chaos storyline led by Voyage of Despair and 9. Technically speaking, Voyage of Despair is map number 1 of this game, so we're technically starting off BO4 with Chaos. Yes, literal chaos, but from here on out, I'll be referring to the Chaos storyline as Chaos. Things open up in the early 20th century with the disappearance of a guy named Alistair Rhodes, who, long story short, is a conspiracy theorist who ended up being correct about a hidden, all-powerful world order, essentially the Illuminati, it looks like. So they naturally kidnapped him to keep this secret. The cult has possession of what's called the Sentinel Artifacts, the almighty Sentinel Artifacts, which are capable of a whole lot, including being able to instantly start a zombie apocalypse. It's magic, I guess. After his disappearance, his daughter Scarlet takes initiative and leads a group of his closest allies to save him and figure out what the fuck's going on, including chemist Stanton Shaw, spy Diego Nicale, and local strongman Bruno Delacroix. We're taken to the Titanic. Yes, the Titanic of all places, in order to retrieve one of the Sentinel artifacts. So is this other guy, who foolishly starts the boat apocalypse just to quickly become a part of it. Great! Now there are zombies to fight off and an Easter egg to complete. It's almost as if this is how it ends up every single zombies map. It's so repetitive. It ends with you defeating a giant ice eye in the sky, discovering that Bruno is in fact a part of the very same cult that other fool was, indicating that he's a traitor, either betraying his cult or our crew, which was a successful cliffhanger. Many didn't care for the story then or to this day, and I'm very much one of those people. It just didn't quite grab my attention as well as Ether did back in the day. But my only genuine beef with the story here is the appalling lack of actual Titanic utilization. I mean, the tragic tale of the unsinkable Titanic is obviously its most compelling aspect, Yet Voyage concludes with the ship sinking the exact same way it did in history, as if nothing happened here. What could have been an Easter egg saving the ship from sinking, for example, saving the fortunes of one of the most infamous tragedies ever, ended up being an underwhelming fetch quest that resulted in the exact same fate. Kinda boring if you ask me. Regardless, the ending had an intriguing enough cliffhanger to keep us rolling into the other Chaos map on launch, 9, named after the cult letter. The crew takes some psychedelics, sending them to the cult's origins in an ancient Roman Colosseum. They're of course not actually there, just tripping balls and experiencing it anyways. The High Priest uses his Nick stick to once again zombify everything, and the gladiator fun begins. Our crew is released into the arena to fight waves of the undead and come out on the other side of the Easter.
Champion standing in their way, but all dreams come to an end, and so do their lives, with one of the more shocking endings out there. They snap out of it and continue on with the next map, but we'll of course get to that later. For now, this is October of 2018, and these are the 2 Chaos maps we've got so far. Clearly, Chaos story will never come close to living up to what the Ether story has spent the better part of a decade establishing, so it's honestly unfair to compare the two, but even with that said, the story was generally less captivating, and had a challenging time retaining players' attention. As far as the maps themselves go, they really couldn't be more different from each other. On one hand, you have Voyage, regarded as one of the worst maps ever, and 9, regarded as one of the best. Voyage is of course based on a real ship, and so you're more or less recreating it rather than creating your own design with creative flexibility, therefore restricting how well it can flow for a zombies map. The ship is enormous, way bigger than you'd initially suspect, yet the entire inside of the ship feels extremely condensed, and we're talking Verruc's one zombie-wide hallway condensed. There are also multiple decks stacked on top of each other, and even shocking endings out there. They snap out of it and continue on with the next map, but we'll of course get to that later. For now, this is October of 2018, and these are the 2 Chaos maps we've got so far. Clearly, Chaos story will never come close to living up to what the Ether story has spent the better part of a decade establishing, so it's honestly unfair to compare the two, but even with that said, the story was generally less captivating, and had a challenging time retaining players' attention. As far as the maps themselves go, they really couldn't be more different from each other. On one hand, you have Voyage, regarded as one of the worst maps ever, and 9, regarded as one of the best. Voyage is of course based on a real ship, and so you're more or less recreating it rather than creating your own design with creative flexibility, therefore restricting how well it can flow for a zombies map. The ship is enormous, way bigger than you'd initially suspect, yet the entire inside of the ship feels extremely condensed, and we're talking Verruc's one zombie-wide hallway condensed. There are also multiple decks stacked on top of each other that ultimately all look the same, making distinguishing different parts of the map much harder. Powering up these Chaos maps means making your way to the Sentinel Artifact, and Pack-a-Punch on this map in particular is relatively easy, as you simply activate all 4 locations and move it to whichever final destination you prefer. Then it moves around every few rounds going forward. 9 had a far more unique approach to Pack-a-Punch, as you go to each respective temple, each themed after a god, mind you, Danu, Ra, Odin, and Zeus, respectively, and battle the current champion of said temple, claiming their head and some points after each execution. You then take the 4 heads and impale them in the center of the temple, thus, Pack-a-Punch. Along with the various badass themes comes a straightforward design with ample space. The map is essentially just the central arena with the temple below that branches off into 4 unique temples, making it very easy to navigate. There's also a major difference in atmosphere here. 9 has multiple, wrapped together with a beautiful color scheme and lighting, whereas Voyage is sort of just gray. Look, I get it, we're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on a particularly frigid night. It's supposed to look a lot like this. But depressing is depressing. And 9 isn't even close to that. You feel the grandeur of this map wash over you just as you walk out of the cage. The arena full of chants and beating drums has a way of amping you up. Whereas Voyage is sort of just like, well, great, we're on the Titanic. There's the iceberg. Here's to sinking into a deep depression. Both maps share insufferable boss zombies, starting with this monstrosity, the Blight Father. It's that creature from the opening cutscene that cocoons itself in one stomach that bursts out and vomits everywhere. Among other forms of assault, like grabbing you with its tongue and jabbing you in half with its praying mantis-like forearms. You put this thing down by shooting the spore on its back, and isn't necessarily easy to do so, but they don't appear frequently enough for me to mind them so much. It's the catalyst zombies that make me want to punch a fucking hole in my wall. They're everywhere. all the time, both on Voyage and 9, and there are 4 different variants of them: lightning, fire, water, and poison. They're individually weak, but collectively insufferable, as the lightning one blinds you, the poison one comes acid in your face, the fire one explodes and burns you, and the water ones don't do shit other than make every surrounding zombie much beefier than usual. They're one of the worst ideas anybody in Treyarch ever had, and I genuinely hope whoever thought of them is somewhere equally frustrated as I am typing this out right now. The boss that's unique to Voyage would be the Stoker, a giant fire demon who finds its way into the map in both the quietest yet deadliest fashion imaginable. It's there to serve its stereotypical tank boss zombie role, as are the Destroyers and Marauders from 9. The Destroyers being thick, heavily armored axe throwers with a meticulous pace, and the Marauders being a slighter build, but are much quicker and much more aggressive as they leap around and slice. 9 also has zombie tigers, the equivalent of your classic hellhounds, just newer and slightly beefier. While 9 has more boss zombies, I'd say they're higher quality and match the theme better than Voyage's, so there's a bit of a trade-off there. The wonder weapons are also really similar. They can both be obtained via quests, or through the box if you're not interested in looking up the Waffles tutorial. Voyage has the Kraken. It's essentially a revolving cannon with 4 elemental upgrades. 9 has the Death of Orion, a scorpion blaster that chains zombies together like that of the Wonder Wasp, and can be upgraded as well. So while the 2 maps do share some core elements, they end up being 2 totally different experiences, 9 being universally recognized as the superior one. Like I said, well, which in other words just means it doesn't suffocate the player as much as a condensed linear map like Voyage does. Minor things like challenges, traps, and extra Easter eggs also add up and make 9 more dynamic. What's really interesting, though, is that when the game's trailer initially came out, it was the Titanic. It was Voyage that was far more popular than anticipated. 9 was ironically the afterthought map, since we all knew so little about it. And I'm not just saying this to jerk myself off here, but I was a part of the small group on launch playing 9 above everything else. I was genuinely excited for this map going in, and its success didn't surprise me, but it seemed to surprise everyone else. It ended up quickly becoming the hidden gem of the bunch. Before we go any further, we've got to talk about this brand new perk system Treyarch decided to try with this game. It's pretty simple how perk colas in the past operated. You'd simply walk up to one of the machines, drink, and from there on out you were biologically enhanced, making the monotony of endlessly murdering zombies more invigorating. I think what we all appreciate so much about the perks beyond just their helpfulness, though, is the vibrance they inject into an otherwise visually dull and depressing mode. Each perk has its own jingle, its own color scheme, its own personality that makes attachment so much easier for the players. I mean, there's a reason why the original 4 are so recognizable and beloved. They add color in a gray world on top of being so damn good. Eventually, though, Treyarch realized that perks like Quick Revive, Jug, Double Tap, and Speed, aka the first 4 fucking perks they invented, were being selected each and every time and were being heavily prioritized by the players, especially since lots of maps have a 4 perk limit. In other words, they're crutch perks, selected not necessarily out of want, but need, and so Treyarch aimed to fix this. I'll let Blundell explain it himself, too.
The problem is that everyone gets the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so when we switched it on with all the normal perks, first time. And we just took a survey. Like a survey monkey, right? We could look at it. Yeah. And everyone had the same perks. And we kept on adding more and more perks the other day.
Well, that's how pretty much the only time I ever, diverged from the core 4 is when I maybe got like an All in the House or a, or like Perkaholic.
As soon as we took out certain perks, suddenly when I looked at the survey, everything started changing. And I was like, this is what we want. And then people then started to have their own strategies. And then they had different strategies on their own than when they were with friends, and with certain friends based on how they play. And we're like, that's what we're after. I would ask the question of the person, say, why do you want Joe? And they say, well, because I like to get to high rounds. And I go, okay, well, there's multiple ways you could change the game to allow you to get high rounds. You can, if you change nothing and said, I want to do normal difficulty, I don't want to do custom mutations, I just want to play the normal game. I'd say, okay, well, how do you play? I usually sit at the top of the catwalk and kill things. Right, okay, well then let's talk about this perk. Let's put this perk in your slot, let's put that perk in, and that's going to be good for you, and that's going to generate the same kind of effect.
And they could tailor their loadouts to work. So essentially, by removing Juggernog and removing some of those beloved perks, you've given more freedom to the player.
Yes, this new system came in the form of pre-selected perks, meaning you pick the 4 you want before the game even begins. and you're set with said perks for the entirety of the game. This instantly raises a problem, however, as it disables you from being able to down in-game and change your mind. You ever down with a full set of perks and decide, you know what, I kind of want to switch things up. I'd like to try a different strategy that would prevent me from, dying again. Yeah, so is literally everyone with a brain that's ever played this mode. And so this cookie-cutter format is already a problem among a long list of more to come. It bosses you in. So we only get 4, and we can't ever change our minds when we start. Now let's take a glance at these perks. It looks like we've got some returning ones like Mule Kick, Stamina, and Quick Revive, which actually loses its solo ability given the implementation of self-revives by default. Hold on though, folks, that's not the only perk that carried half of its identity into this game. We also have Deadshot Dealer, Electric Burst, and PhD Slider, which are all renamed for God knows why. There's actually quite a lengthy list of entirely new perks though too, including Time Slip, which speeds up all recharges, Death Perception, allowing you to see zombies through walls, Dying Wish, essentially Quick Revive solo ability, Stone Cold Stronghold, a Camper's Delight, Bandolier Bandit, the ultimate ammo restock perk, Victorious Tortoise, enhancing your shield power significantly, Winter's Wail, an inferior version of Widow's Wine, and lastly, Secret Sauce, a randomly generated perk like that of the Wonder Fizz machine, adding a fun, unpredictable dynamic to the game. 4 other perks were also added with each DLC, including Ethereal Razor, the ultimate melee perk, Zombshell, an electric orb that slows zombies down, Blood Wolf Bite, which spawns in pooches for assistance, and Blaze Phase. Let's not talk about that one. See all these new perks and you think to yourself, holy shit, BO3 only added 1 new perk. This game went above and beyond. Until you quickly realize that every single one of those perks float around the line of mediocrity together, not being outstanding in a negative or positive way. What do I mean? Well, in previous games, we got a healthy assortment of both really good and really bad perks. A stark contrast between must-haves like Jug and must-never-touches like Who's Who and Tombstone, with some middle-of-the-road perks like Electric Cherry, for example, in the fold as well. In BO4, however, all of the perks are middle of the road, none being in one extremity or the other, which generally dilutes things and makes it unclear as to what's necessary or not. Of course, this was Treyarch's goal, as they wanted to eliminate that clear hierarchy for the sake of parity, but they unfortunately didn't even end up solving the crutch perk issue. Treyarch had this feeble hope of players picking a new set of perks every single time they played, when in all reality it goes against our human nature of wanting to figure out which setup we like best and sticking to it. For example, I personally pick the same 2 perks nearly every time I play, Stamina Up and Dying Wish, with the other 2 slots being somewhat flexible. So in all reality, they didn't really eliminate the crutch perk problem, rather marginally reduced it at the cost of reducing the whole system to a communist-like state of mediocrity. Where did the OG4 perks go? Quick Revive was replaced with Stealth Revive. Speed Cola is obtained by having all 4 of your perks. Double Tap is obtained by upgrading your gun 5, let me repeat, 5 fucking times, costing a total of 15,000 points and lots of my patience, and Jug is simply given to the player right off the bat with 200 default HP at spawn. A total of 15,000 points and lots of my patience, and Jug is simply given to the player right off the bat with 200 default HP at spawn. The Jug replacement proves to be the most damning of them all, as it kills natural game progression. You no longer spawn in with a 2-hit down, walking on eggshells until you grab the almighty Jug. Now it's a birthright that removes any real fear or challenge you're supposed to face early in the game. You're essentially a god with all of that health and that OP specialist you also get, which is pretty much a wonder weapon. Real quick on those specialists, there are 8 of them in total, 4 Chaos and 4 Ether. They each have their own unique abilities. Don't get me wrong, I think they're all awesome, but like I said, it works hand in hand with the health boost to kill natural game progression, as you no longer have to earn it via quest. It's handed to you in the game. Same thing goes for the equipment, which you also choose before the game even begins. OP Armory and Elixir systems double and triple down on this, beating this game down to a mindless pulp the second you enter the game, as you can legit start with an SMG or shotgun with a myriad of attachments. Back to the perk system though. These pre-selected perks are placed in the same 4 lifeless machines, and although you have the advantage of being able to choose where your perks go, it removes the personality and life that the original machines provided. The sales pitch of a jingle, the unique design and flavor. All of it. I appreciate the new modifiers, which enhances your 4th perk slot, but it's not nearly enough to make up for the absolute catastrophe that is the BO4 perk system. It set out to eliminate what wasn't even really a huge problem, and in the process, it not only didn't fix it, but made everything else about it worse. On top of all of that, take a look at this HUD. It's fucking abysmal. HUD in the past was so clean and only displayed what was absolutely necessary. But in this game, you see too much. I could have removed half the shit on here and minimized the rest to make it look way slicker than it does now. It's a major eyesore in this game. I can't ignore it. I could go on and on about other awful things BO4 made, like the new game awful zombie spawns, increasingly expensive field performances. As if an entirely new timeline wasn't challenging enough to follow, the Ether storyline continues chugging along, despite having citizens Our first Ether map is Blood of one of the most highly anticipated remakes of all-time debuts a half-decade after Mob of the Dead's original release back in 2013, which, as we all know, is one of the GOATs, and is tied with Der Anfang as my personal favorite. Drack. I didn't actually buy Vanguard, so don't expect an analysis of it. My analysis is that it's not worth buying. I couldn't have been more excited for the sequel. The trailer gave me chills. Gave us all chills. Don't try to hide it. You were super excited for it, too. You saw the fellas strutting through Alcatraz. It looked like the greatest crossover ever was brewing between our OGs and The Rock, previously occupied by these OGs. Also, like we discussed earlier, lots of the production that should have been gauged towards properly concluding Black Ops 3 was relegated to this very map, and so that naturally raises the expectations on top of the high bar that already exists. You can probably tell where I'm going with this. Blood of the Dead ended up ironically being one of the most disappointing maps ever, and it has everything to do with BO4's overarching theme. Poor innovation, changing things not for the sake of actual improvement, rather change sake. The story is really the only redeeming factor here, so we can start with that. But please, buckle up. This shit does get very confusing, but you know I take pride in oversimplifying this stuff. BO3 starts off with Richtofen stealing the summoning key and using it to absorb the souls of all the 4 characters throughout the game, which are then placed safely in the house as revelation occurs. One thing that you may have not noticed, however, and that I didn't mention in my analysis of BO3, was their quick pit stop in between Zetzevo and Gorod to collect the blood vials from Richtofen's lab under Alcatraz, which protects the crew from being wiped from existence at the end of Revelations. Dr. Monty sends the crew back to the Great War, thus continuing the cycle. But it turns out, this isn't actually how things are supposed to pan out, as we're floored to find out that Monty was never actually on our side. He desired the same power that the Shadow Man did, and so he's also the evil one. I guess there really were no good guys. This time around, as noted in the Canorian, things needed to be different in order to stop Monty. This dimension skews from what would have otherwise have been a brief stop into total entrapment. The crew originally teleports out of here to Gorod, followed by Revelations, but in this dimension, Brutus destroys their teleporter, trapping them in this pocket dimension fueled by all of the other damn souls on the island. The crew undergoes the events of Blood of the Dead, coming out on the other side of it all with one of the most profound and confusing Easter egg endings out there. Somehow, the Richtofen that had experienced Gorod Revelations after this was pinned here in a cryo chamber. Knowing he needs to put an end to the cycle here and now, he disposes of the Warden and frees the very souls keeping this dimension intact, thus ceasing its existence. Not before the Richtofen we walked in here with is disposed of himself, completely erasing the end of BO3 and opening up a new one with Nikolai's soul still being intact since we never took it in Stalingrad. With a new Richtofen by their side, the crew watches their Richtofen, who had experienced everything up to Zetzevo with them, die one of the saddest deaths in video game history. Well, at least from the player's perspective. These guys actually didn't seem to care all that much, which is a little less surprising when you realize the amount of shit Richtofen has dragged them through. All of it life-threatening. It hit you and I significantly harder, though, given we knew all of what Primus Richtofen had achieved. All of what went on back at the dig site, the conquered shadows, the bullet he put through his head in the giant, and the lives of his closest allies he had to take. All of that hard work is now for naught, as his life's mission abruptly and sadly ends, and in quite shocking fashion, as he's sucked completely dry of his blood, his life. It was genuinely sad. It was like losing a friend. The crew had just begun to grow closer, as they really only had one another, and truly understood each other's pain. Yet they turn away. No one will even remember him. It had to be his blood to break the cycle, and while he understood that, it was a fate he found difficult to accept, as did we. The revised crew teleport from this collapsing dimension into the events of the second Ether map, Classified, which we'll of course touch upon after this Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead storytelling, though not the cleanest and most decisive, is not the problem with this map. It really all falls on the gameplay, and how little it did to enhance what was already essentially a flawless Mob of the Dead. I will first clarify the fact that Blood of the Dead is not your stereotypical, fully faithful remaster like those of Zombies Chronicles, rather a reimagined edition of the map. A remaster is a reskin, but a reimagine, like in this case, is a revised edition. It's expanded upon with major design changes, including some newly accessible areas of the island, making it an entirely new experience. With that being said, let's take a glance at the key differences in design here. The best part of Mob of the Dead, the Golden Gate Bridge, is completely removed, thus inconveniently displacing Pack-a-Punch into 3 separate locations. An entirely new section of the island opens up, providing 2 distinct segments of the map. The newer part where you spawn, and the classic mob part of the island, with a deadly catwalk in between. While this provides you with more space, it's not all that useful of space, as you typically make your way to the main part of the island and never turn back. Other than the first of now 2 power switches, thanks for that also, by the way, there's no compelling reason to ever go back in that direction, which is the biggest issue with such a linear map. The previously sectioned off Warden's house opens up as well, which I'd say adds real value if it actually did. It's just sort of more space for the sake of it. Not only were the most beloved parts of the map removed and replaced with largely useless space, but the seamless flow Mob once had is now completely severed, as you're no longer able to loop around the whole place. Now you've got to use these stupid fucking teleporters and make any of this even work. So the new design sucks. What else does? I'd say having to tediously absorb souls one by one with the shield to charge shit around the map is somehow even more cumbersome to obtain Hell's Retriever and Redeemer that's totally decentralized anyways because you only get one equipment slot and what you get by default when you spawn in is already better. And the fact that pretty much everything that made Mob unique either negatively modified or gone altogether. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of premise on Mob, until it became clear that the original prisoners and their story was what separated it from the pack. I love the returning Blundergat and its new Magma upgrade, but that and the painfully predictable boss zombie tandem of Brutus and Hounds left some unexplored creativity on the table in my opinion. Blood remained faithful to lots of what Mob was, but not necessarily the right components, which caused the most hyped remake ever to fall well short of its expectations. After the gut-wrenching closeout to Blood of the Dead, the crew teleports to Groom Lake, Nevada, which sounds familiar because it's where we spawned in all of those years playing Moon. If you recall how that map ended, Richtofen swapped souls with Samantha, and the crew was stranded there after the rockets destroyed Earth. After Maximus' ending and buried, however, he saved Samantha's soul from Richtofen's body, as the Richtofen he zombified swoops in and hands it back to himself. The fact that they rely so much on so many different variants of the same character is indicative of poor storytelling, by the way. The Ultimus crew is then inadvertently teleported here from the moon and are captured as test subjects until Primus shows up and rescues them after the grueling process of getting to round 150. Seriously, what kind of fucking Easter egg is that? The fourth and final launch map we receive is Classified, aka 5 Reimagined, aka the bonus map that requires you to buy the entire Black Ops Pass. Classified is to 5 what Blood is to Mob. A very similar map, but with some key design differences. In Classified's case, some new office areas and the Pack-a-Punch hangout, which actually improves what was originally a small, condensed map, unlike Blood. Other changes that add, rather than subtract, include the now consistent and precise teleporters, a genuinely useful set of electric traps given the freed-up space, and a buffed Winter's Howl, turning what was initially an impossible high round into a far more casual, far more enjoyable map to juxtapose with the intensity of Blood. Also like Blood, the original cast of characters is replaced with the OGs, which does take away some of what makes it special and unique, but certainly isn't a bad thing either. But I miss your pudgy face, Nixon. The only change that made me genuinely sad was the removal of the Pentagon Thief, which I understand is a controversial opinion since many people hate him, but I, for whatever reason, appreciated the chaotic presence he brought. He was such an unusual challenge to face. He was something we really hadn't experienced on any other map to this day. Stealing your guns is plenty of reason to dislike him, and I do, but it's more of a love-hate relationship we have. He's always bad touching me, but sometimes he does it just right. Plus, he rewards you nicely for killing him, and he created so many fond memories of my childhood friends and I running around the map in total panic, and stunned fear as we screamed our faces red. He's replaced with Hounds Unclassified, which are just the most predictable, safe, boring boss zombie alternative ever. The devs are just like, hey, do we not feel like thinking of a new boss zombie, guys? No? Good. Hound it up. Like, come on. Otherwise, though, I have nothing negative to say about Classified. It made genuine improvements. I think in large part because it didn't overthink itself like Blood. It simply assessed 5's undesirable quality and made small tweaks to make it more player-friendly. And so with Blood the Dead and the Chaos maps, Classified is the first taste of Black Ops 4 zombies we got. Like I mentioned earlier, though, the community was so used to identifying with 1 or 2 maps at launch. 4 maps with 4 different Easter eggs to solve and 3 sets of characters to attach ourselves to begins to look like less of a blessing and perhaps more of an overwhelming start to what it would eventually become the most disastrous zombie title ever. I mean, right off the bat, there's an identity crisis even worse than that of BO2. But at least BO2's was predicated on a transfer of power between devs. This game doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. We just get 2 Chaos maps along with 2 Ether maps with no real idea of where the game is headed. If you couldn't tell from my 30-plus minute verbal blowjob of BO3, great zombies games tend to have a clear direction and not leave the players with so many questions, or at least the wrong kinds of questions. Like, gee, which set of characters am I supposed to invest myself in? And half the maps are remasters. So should we be expecting a game fluffed with remasters? With such a perplexing group of maps at launch, we as a community were naturally very confused as to where this game was headed. Chaos? Ether? We couldn't wait to find out. And we didn't until December 11th, 2018, when Dead of the Night released. Mind you, we usually know which map we're getting far in advance of the map's release. But for whatever reason, Treyarch didn't even upload a trailer for the map, which is a much bigger deal than you'd think. With previous titles, we'd get this amazing hype trailer a few weeks in advance to build up anticipation and excitement for what's to come. I found out Dead of the Night released the day of on Twitter. That's a major problem. No hype, no build-up, no awareness whatsoever. Just flop. Here's the new map, guys. It's especially damning given it's DLC 1, which is far and away the most important map, as it essentially makes or breaks the rest of the DLC season. If it's a home run like Dries and Drax, you've successfully bridged the launch maps with the DLCs while maintaining the player's interest. If it's a complete flop like Dead of the Night, however, the game flames out right then and there, greatly diminishing the success of maps to come, which is precisely what happened. The concept of Dead of the Night is one of the most unique out there. A huge estate with a variety of cool monster bosses and fun puzzles to solve is really captivating. But not if nobody's aware of the fact that it's coming until it arrives. So right off the bat, this map is at a major disadvantage before we even discuss the actual quality of it, which really just goes to show how much of a mess things were. And don't forget, folks, this is a AAA company developing this game. We couldn't even get the pre-existing intro cinematic uploaded to YouTube a week in advance. It's just sad. I would say the story continues on from 9, but Dead of the Night is actually a prequel to Voyage. So the Chaos maps are ironically, chaotically, not even in chronological order, making the story even more difficult to follow. We're taken back to the kidnapping of Alistair Rhodes as the cult ties him up in the basement of his own home during a cordial get-together. Like we talked about earlier, the guy knows too much, so they kidnapped him. Alistair's butler, Godfrey, also one of the cult members, uses the sensible artifact to zombify everyone but himself and 3 others, who just so happen to be in a safe circle at that particular moment, who solidify our crew. As the map goes on, Godfrey keeps to himself as the other 3 are on a quest to figure out Alistair's whereabouts. Upon the Easter egg completion, Godfrey murders the other crew members to maintain his secrecy, till Scarlet shows up and puts a hole in his chest, killing him as the mansion burns down and the other cult members escape with her dad, which then of course leads to Voids of Despair. The characters are voiced by celebrities, which is cool, but sort of the only redeeming quality they have. They're unimportant in the grand scheme of things, and are also really fucking annoying to listen to, frankly. This map is their one and only appearance, which naturally makes them feel like a passing stone more so than a group of characters we genuinely care about. Despite the characters themselves, however, I thought this was actually a successful setup to the rest of the Chaos story. At least passable. Let's take a look at the map itself now. As we know, it takes place in the profound Lavish Roads manor. The place seems infinitely big with, of course, the main living space in the mansion, but also the ample outdoor space. I absolutely adore this map's atmosphere. It's one of the most unique out there. I especially love the color scheme with the contrast between the indoor warmth and the grim, frightening outdoor bits. You truly feel like you're in a game of Clue. I dare say this atmosphere is one of the most immersive Zombies has ever seen. But unfortunately, those are the only flowers I have for this map. The rest of it is downhill from here. Like all the other Chaos maps, you start by activating the Sentinel artifact, which then propels you into the Pack-a-Punch quest as you follow the clues that lead you to where the 3 necessary tuning forks are to unlock it. The 3 main puzzles are putting this ghost bitch to rest, winding up this flock, and slaying the vampire horde. We're going to get to these fuckboys in a minute, don't you worry. These tasks aren't so difficult to achieve until you realize there are more parts to grab on this map than any other map that has ever existed. There's multiple parts in multiple locations for what seems like an endless list of things to be obtained, including the shield, silver bullets for the werewolf. Don't you worry, we're gonna get to those fuckboys soon too. The steak knife, the wonder weapon and its upgrade, the Savage Impaler, the trap cores, and any other miscellaneous shit I'm forgetting, which I quite possibly am. More so than even the most tedious maps of the past, Dead of the Night pretty much subjects you to just walking around the perimeter of the map holding the engage button, since there's such an overwhelming amount of stuff to be accounted for. And it's not like Origins that rewards you with some of the best wonder weapons ever. These rewards, relative to how difficult it is to earn them, is more like Zetsubo, but somehow even worse. Hang on though, it gets significantly more challenging because you're also dealing with a myriad of boss zombies on top of that, and some of the most infuriating ever at that. First and foremost are the Nosferatus, aka the vampires, whatever you want to call them, who not only show up in a ridiculously large quantity, but speed around the map and lunge at you, disorienting and damaging you. It gets even worse though. They have an even less tolerable variant, which literally hop on top of you and take you completely out of the game momentarily, which leaves you completely vulnerable and allows everything else to pile on as well. What's everything else? Let's try these giant fucking werewolves, which are admittedly really cool, but are the biggest bullet sponges of any boss zombie I can remember. Hence why you need silver bullets to take them down reasonably. They're sort of the equivalent of the Blight Fathers, except these guys are much quicker and much more aggressive. And that's of course without mentioning the regular zombies and the fiercely toxic catalyst zombies that already make me want to not play the map. You're beginning to see why this map is completely and utterly overwhelming, even for the hardest of hardcore players, let alone the casual community. I mean, if you're new to zombies and this map is your first choice, do yourself a favor, quit, and go play something else. You'll never want to play zombies again with this as your first impression. High rounds on this map are more chaotic than any other map I can remember. There's so much going on that it legitimately feels impossible at times. The Alistair's Foley Wonder Weapon is alright, but you've got to go through this confusing scavenger hunt to unlock it if you're not lucky enough to get it from the box. When upgraded to the Annihilator, it's obviously much better and has some really cool elemental abilities, but like I said, that's an entirely separate process with multiple quests sandwiched together to even get to that point. So, while the atmosphere is a 10 out of 10, the gameplay to go along with it drags it down significantly, as it's simply too much all at once. And lots of it is really mandatory if you want any real shot at surviving long term. But even with everything I just said being true, it still never had a fair shot because Treyarch didn't even bother to promote the fucking map. Talk about a giant mess. Then DLC 2 comes along, which, despite how unsuccessful Dead of the Night was, ended up giving the community one last bit of hope. There was actually a trailer this time, and it was mighty impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, Ancient Evil. The final chapter of the Chaos storyline takes place in the ancient city of Delphi, Greece, as the crew snaps out of their psychedelic trip to 9 and enters the city with a passkey they obtained from said trip. There's this broad called the Oracle, who's actually that no-good Medusa, who misleads the crew into freeing her by completing the Easter egg and killing Perseus. Poor guy was just trying to protect us. Medusa's ultimate plan was to lure Scarlet here and absorb her knowledge, which for whatever reason allows her to open up the library and gain total power over the world with that magical zombie material from the Sentinel artifacts. Meanwhile, Alistair and the cult are anticlimactically turned into stone, not to ever be heard from again. What a sudden turn of events. It's at this point that the Chaos storyline peaks. It finally gets interesting and captivates us. And so naturally, with the peak being the very end, it felt disappointing. Which is of course ironic, since the beginning felt boring, thus disappointing. You have to know a little bit about Greek mythology to fully grasp this map, which, if you don't already, is actually a really good incentive to do a little research, because the lore is actually fascinating. It provides a really unique and exciting map concept. The lost city of Delphi is visually stunning, and is all the more impressive in the COD zombie format. Clerics always had a way of seamlessly combining their mode with some of the most fascinating locations out there. I mean, come on. Alcatraz, the Pentagon, the Moon, and now ancient Greece? Badass. The lore trickles down to just about every aspect of the map, including, of course, the overall design, the boss zombies, the Pegasus, Spartor, and Biggies, and the 4 elemental wonder weapons based on the gods of Chimera, Gaia, Ornos, and Charon. These gauntlets are actually quite easy to obtain and are extremely powerful when fully upgraded, which requires a prudent quest revolving around the story of that respective god. This blueprint has been used various times in Horizon Drac most notably, and is a format that seems to always work given a variety of replayability elements. Among the tanky four-armed Pygmies and the admittedly irritating Sparkler are the returning Catalyst zombies and White Father, and so while the boss zombie variety can be overwhelming, we do have much more tools to fend them off, with the additional Pegasus Strike and Hell's Shield. I also appreciate the duality of the overall design, and the map is split into 2 segments: Delphi, where you spawn, and the River of Sorrows in the center of the world, which you enter on the back of the majestic Pegasus. Visually, the 2 sides contrast each other greatly between light and darkness, but share equal value. Delphi has 3 of the 4 perks in the Sentinel artifacts, whereas the dark side has Pack Punch, with each side also containing 2 of the 4 gauntlets. After the initial trip over, teleporters conveniently connect the 2 sections, making the entire map easy to traverse. Pretty much everything about this map is story, atmosphere, and gameplay alike, making it one of the more complete and frankly great maps to offer. I'd say this map and 9 are the 2 universal favorites of this game, which is ironic given Voyage and Dead of Night are universally hated the most, making it an even split amongst the Chaos maps. Hell, even the Ether maps we got are like that. Blood of the Dead was a huge letdown, but Classified ended up being solid. It just goes to show how up and down this game is. There's a constant shift in momentum between all of these maps, making it really hard to assess as a whole. So far, it's gone 2 Chaos maps, followed by 2 Ether maps, followed by the final 2 Chaos maps. I wonder what the final 2 maps are going to look like. We left off with the union of the Primus and Ultimate crews at the end of Classified, who then continue their mission here at St. Edward, aka Nuketown. Yes, the 7th iteration of the most overdone map in COD history returns once again. We're all totally stoked and not worn down from this whatsoever. What's interesting is that this is the first map, as far as I'm aware, that has 2 different playable crews, both the younger and older versions of Riktoff and Nikolai Dempsey and Takio, which is pretty cool, but also a tad confusing. If you recall Revelation's ending, you'll remember that Monty sends them back in time, thus continuing the endless cycle. All of the characters' souls were placed in the house with Sam and Eddie, but in this alternate timeline, they never got there, since we never went to select Clovey, thus leaving only these 2. The timeline skews in Blood of the Dead when the continuing to change, and Nikolai, the only one who's in charge to break the cycle once and for all. It doesn't take long for Monty to notice this, and so he enters panic mode knowing that if the cycle is broken, his very existence will follow suit. So he goes downstairs and kills Maxis, but not before Maxis Edward. A truly noble sacrifice to save his daughter and humanity at large. The crew now needs to complete what's called the Agarthan device in order to restore normalcy in the world. and obtain one of the components by defeating Avogadro in the Easter egg. The Victus crew, who have been storing Rick Toppy's lab all this time, are once again borne out by Rick Toppy to grab the final component of the device. With the device now complete, there's only one more thing left to be done, and that's the total elimination of all the beloved characters.
Come here, nigga, come here. Boom,
interferes with the world's restoration.
Jazeka, Lusu.
Never faced, as he wanted to avoid
Jazeka, come here. Lusu.
By ignoring those mistakes, all he did was continue their miserable cycle. Nikolai faces this reality, however, and the drinks of all of his brothers in arms, knowing his best friends for the greater good of humanity. Knowing simply no other choice. He then hands a gun to Sam, who then finishes him, laying waste to the 8 men, both Prince and Ultimate.
Just what to talk
Not only do we intend bond with one another, but you and I, the players who have been on this journey for the past decade. Everything Element 115 related is banished to the Dark Ether forever. Humanity is finally restored to what it once was, and the children are now granted normal lives. It may not have been the most glamorous ending, certainly not the most glamorous cutscene quality, but its emotional impact on the players can't be denied. It was a really tough pill to swallow knowing that not only were our beloved crew put to an end, but the zombie storyline at large. It stung, but was absolutely necessary. The story could only be dragged out so long, and so Treyarch opted to put an end to it before our heroes saw themselves become the villains. Before arguably the most captivating story in video game history lost its special touch. Though I'm not against how the story ultimately panned out, I certainly think the gameplay of these final 2 maps, DLC 3's Alpha Omega and DLC 4's Togger Toten, left a lot to be desired. I'm lumping these 2 maps together because they're actually very similar and share many of the same good, but more so bad qualities. Both maps are of course remakes, Alpha Omega being yet another Newtown remake, which was pretty much copy and pasted from Blackout, and Togger Toten reimagined All of the Dead. Side note, I love the final map being German for Day of the Dead, contrasting with the very first map, Night of the Dead. It wrapped the whole thing together beautifully. The unoriginality of these maps trickled into the gameplay, as neither map seemed to be eager to innovate in any significant way, starting with most notably, the Wonder Weapons. Alpha Omega's Wonder Weapon is none other than the Ray Gun Mark II, but this time having 4 elemental upgrades. Refreshing. Don't get me wrong, they're super fucking cool, but I'm not gonna let that cloud my judgment. The bottom line is they're highly unoriginal, which also goes for Tog's Wonder Weapons. Let's take a look at what they've got. The Thunder Gun, exhilarating. The Tundra Gun, why did they stick with this one instead of both? And this Wonder Wasp Scavenger Hybrid, whose name is so difficult to pronounce, do it. They're not particularly bad, not particularly great either, which makes them even harder to wrap my arms around. The boss zombies follow suit, as in both maps we get Lightning Hounds, which are no different than regular hounds, the most common boss zombies ever, and Nova Crawlers return, granted in slightly different form, but I'm inspired nonetheless. Oh, and how can I forget the electric zombies? Okay, so both maps are giant recycling bins, but what about the core of the thing? Well, Alpha Omega's power system consists of turning 4 gas valves that not only turn off at random throughout the game, but switch locations too, which might just be the most infuriating way to keep the map charged. Tog doesn't want to feel left out though, and decides to take the one power switch called Red Pad and multiply it by 3. How is this an improvement? Tog does have a few key differences other than its gorgeous atmosphere though that I think elevates it above Alpha Omega, and that's the Hermit, Challenges, and Golden Pack-a-Punch, which only appears in short spurts, but only requires you to throw your gun in there once for the standard 5,000 points instead of having to do it 5 times for the same effect on all previous maps, which is less of a benefit and more of a fix of what was a major flaw in the game to begin with. I wouldn't say this is a benefit. Each of these maps expands upon its predecessor with various new areas of the map and convenient means of transportation with the teleporters and zip lines respectively, which I'll give it credit for, but with everything else being unoriginal, it doesn't quite ring the same way. These 2 maps aren't bad, but reek of mediocrity, which made the last legs of this game wobbly. Well, there you have it. The giant mess that is Black Ops 4 Zombies. It was a confusing tug-of-war between a largely uninteresting new Chaos storyline and the classic Ether storyline limping to its grave. Though I generally had fun with this game, especially with the new Russian Gauntlet modes, I'd be lying if I said this game didn't feel filler. since we really should have gotten the Great War finale back in BO3. Instead, we got this slowly animated cutscene, and though we got
like in
four
Russia, you know what you
original
take cold in
maps,
Russia?
of the four were all remakes, essentially checking off whatever maps hadn't yet been remastered in Zombies Chronicles. It's one thing to have 1 or 2 remakes in a game, but when half of the maps are remastered, it just goes to show how uninspired the game as a whole was. As if they made it because they had to, not because they were super passionate about it. The development behind the scenes of the resources were poured into Blackout, but it doesn't change the fact that Treyarch is a AAA studio, and they did have a good amount of time to get it all done. I think the hardest thing to accept about this game is the fact that it's actually not so bad in a vacuum, devoid of context. But unfortunately, it followed up far and away the most successful zombie title to date, Fail in comparison. The engine was clunky, the basic mechanics were mostly downgraded, the maps weren't even in the correct order.
This is how we do.
Had an overall crisis that not even BO2 could match.
Let them come. Let them come.
Point for so many
Let them all come.
the mode.
Come.
Subpar and the story was too confusing for any casual to follow, which wouldn't have been such an issue if the game hadn't prioritized. My friends and I created some fond memories with this game, and I always appreciated custom mutations allowing me to manipulate it to my liking.
Get them all. Get them all.
But I've got to say, this game was a complete and utter mess. It was
Give me points.
What was an otherwise spectacular mode. Hey, howdy, host and host here. Welcome back to another video. I apologize for my brief absence. I was down for about a week. That was good timing, though. I know the whole New Year, and I just wanted to spend that time with friends and family, not worrying about video every single day. Because when I do that, I get burnt out, and it starts becoming meh content. But, you know, I'm refreshed, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to be playing some public maps.
You want to touch me when they touch me? You really want to play with me with my banana? Yeah, big banana is coming for you. Dit is hoe je moet doen. Dit is hoe je moet spelen, mensen. Ik leer jullie spelen. Als je baas wilt zijn en zoals mij wilt spelen, kan je leren toch. Kom les volgen bij de big boy. Zie je dit? De pro aan het werk. Ik heb bijna alles al. Even...
With that said, let's hop into the game. Let's start the top. Probably could have waited a little bit longer.
Deze ga ik veranderen. Dit is goed.
With just starting the match with one person, then waiting a half hour for that to maybe not even happen. I just roll with whoever's in my lobby. Nocturne and Toad is a popular map, especially, you know, relative to World of War at least. But you still don't see a lot of people try to play
500-600 bullets.
Because it's boring as fuck, not even cap. It really just has such little.
Wat is die shit al? Die shit, ik kon nog geen film gepakt, man.
If I get the ray gun, I'm just gonna alt F4 right now.
Dat maakt niet uit.
It's pulling Molotovs in the box and makes me reconsider.
Zeker spelen.
You know what? I'll take a little bit far, but instead, I think for now, I'm just roll with the option as a safe option.
Where the fuck is he naartoe dan?
Safe, and you know what? It's good for points. It's a very efficient weapon. Oh shit, you died. Yo, Dark Puff, you and I are really forced to bond here and get along. We have nothing other than each other. No pack-a-punch, no power, no legitimate water weapons. Sorry, Ray Gun, love you, no homo. Here's something to note. He opened up this door right here instead of the staircase over there, which means that he wants to camp. Maybe he didn't purposely do that, but whether or not he meant to do it.
I can't go for Ray Gun.
That should be it.
But I want to have the crossbow, you know.
Oh my god, you know what's even better? The deployable Browning window.
And I don't know how to get the crossbow yet, but
shooting straight.
if I have the crossbow
So, that's how the rest of this
and monkeys,
goes, there's something
yeah, man,
though about surviving with a complete stranger. Oh, he got the ray gun! Oh my god, how did I get the ray gun? He's had it. Wait, are two of us allowed to have the ray gun simultaneously? Is that allowed? Yo, do you still have your ray gun or did you say that? Oh, we both have it!
killing them all like nothing.
We got a little system here going. One person fires at it. You stop firing. You stop firing, sir. It's my time to shine. I start firing, you hold back, and then when I reload, you fire. And then vice versa. Oh! Oh, I forgot you couldn't dolphin dive in this game. You just straight up froze. Oh, no. Well, that's what happens. Stand there spinning two boxes the entire game.
Ik ga ook een beetje van die cola nemen, want ik weet niet wat het is.
I should have tried to save him a little bit faster.
Nee, alleen maar whisky.
Although, you know what? There's nothing to really gain anyways once you respawn in, so hopefully he doesn't respawn. He just spawns back in and literally all he has to do is spin the box like he was doing anyway. So, yeah, this guy's a good sport. I appreciate that. I can't say that.
Holy shit.
I would have considered quitting at that point, because I totally
Okay. Okay, nigga.
Okay, you're fucking kidding.
You wanna get fucking years?
No, that should not have ended right there. Okay, it is now time for zombie You guys are actually talking, because I told these guys from Twitter that I'm only going to play directly. Because I can't find anybody that's direct to fucking play with normally. It's divided on the other side here. I'm totally alone, of course. Why wouldn't I be the one alone?
Ik ga voor die shit.
Oh, you're shitting me. There's an invisible zombie over here. They're never going to believe me.
Precies één opengehouden als een echte pro. You know.
They're not going to believe me.
Kom op, geef me die
fucking
fucking
crawler. I thought it was an invisible zombie. Wow. I nearly done shit myself. I thought that was going to be game over, honestly. Hey! What makes you think I'm a fake?
The sniper rifle makes for much cleaner.
Yeah. Say something. Why? Why would I say something racist? I couldn't put it in the video. This guy is fully convinced that I am not the real Tim Hansen, which is interesting. Apparently my mic quality is bad. Yo, there's a zombie behind you guys.
I don't want this bullshit gun. I want the fucking crossbow.
So you heard that. You heard me say that. Both of these guys downed. Both of them are down on the other side. There's absolutely not a way I can even revive them if I wanted to. See what happens. That is probably the dumbest decision I could have possibly made. I don't have nearly enough points to open up all the doors. I do not believe that I am me. They think I'm an imposter, which is an interesting theory. You could work with that. I could be...
Eén keer en dan haal ik die shit en dan, ja, dan gaan we al de ronde weer wachten, man.
This eating Killer 45 guy's been talking to me for games after the entire time. Observe PlayStation. Oh, well, congratulations. You got the lesser... Oh, not the Baruch Sprinters! Not the Baruch Sprinters! Those are a real thing, and they're very fucking scary. Look how fast that guy is. He's got feet like I don't know. He's got feet.
Die doggles.
Oh my god.
Check me your sword. I'm not afraid of what the fuck you got. Bombo clap. You bombo clap, sir.
I heard it. So far,
bombo clap. Kom eten mensen. Kom eten dames. Kom. Hier ben ik. Bombo klatje.
Yeah, I swear.
Bombo clap. Die zombies ben ik nog bang, want dat is niet bombo clap.
After a box?
Het was happy hour, nu is het bomboklat hour, shooting.
So, stay with me, I tried my best, other guy.
Come on.
Oh, whoa.
Nou, deze match even een jump op pauze.
Not me. What's happening? Oh god.
Hey. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid.
Well, hello, hey Peter.
Oh, good.
He just told me to fuck off, basically. He told me to get these ears.
Holy shit, holy
It's
shit.
so weird how, like,
they're coming bad, they're coming bad at me, nigga.
My rule is to not communicate with them, but if you communicate with me, I will communicate a little bit, possibly, depending on the situation. I'm going to try to do as little communicating as possible to, you know, bring the essence of this video out.
I don't need it, but... You wanna fuck with me, nigga?
If you were actually one of the easiest deaths.
Oh.
There's an insta-kill glitch on later rounds where it only takes one bullet to kill them.
No, nigga.
24 zombie cap, in which, you know,
no, nigga.
Around
I don't think like that, nigga. Fuck you in the ass, nigga. I said fuck you in the ass.
There's only 24 zombies per round, and there's a ton of other glitches that stack on top of it to make this probably the easiest high rounding map of all time. So, you know,
Bloody. Bitch ass nigga. I don't even want to do anything, nigga. That was close, nigga.
You're my leader, then. You are my leader. Guide us. You said you wanted to go downstairs at the end of this round. Which debris should I include? Which way are we going? Oh, don't tell me one of these guys. Don't tell me one of these guys. Well,
just that damn calm. Just that damn calm to me.
Oh my fucking god! I'm actually so angry. I was looking forward to getting that.
That's the reason I need the fucking crossbow.
Got a carve out. Oh, he's down though. Wow, what a fucking loser. You just died with the one-off. I don't want to hear any excuses. He just said he's lagged. Oh, what a good pickup though, the Browning. Oh, good job.
It is.
I'm so happy. I want to get judged ASAP because I still be downing very shortly without it. As you can tell, right the fuck now, actually. Here comes my hero. Oh, I died. I lost my Browning. I lost the kids, the wife. I lost my home. Oh, I'm all the way back to the spot as well. Okay, well, then we'll go down here and spin a box. If it disappears, I'm going to cry even more.
Tinka. Only can have purpose.
Because why not? One of the smoothest shooting weapons. In the car! What the hell? I'm stuck on him! I fucking hate the World of War zombies! Hi, yes, it's your sad, pathetic teammate. Just waiting to get revived. You got a one-off.
That's some bullshit.
Pull that out and kill the surrounding zombies. I totally understand running away and ignoring me, though. He died. Oh, tragic. That's a tragedy right there. I may have said the World of War high rounds were easy, but the engine itself is so good. Okay, let's see if we can get a Doris map. There are over 600 players online. That should be a good sign. And we got into a lobby.
Oh my god.
NSN Aspect and I are going to take over the world. We're going to be the greatest.
Dat ik heb gekregen van die domme kalven.
Tell me otherwise. Seems like he's a no Michael.
Fuck die kalven ook, boy.
For her. They're definitely pros.
Hot here, man. Hot.
Some of the cons being some of the glitches with the zombies and the Wonderwall and Jug and all that, but, you know, some of the pros being the weapon variety, excellent weapon variety, and also the classic vibe of it.
I'm not gonna die, bitches.
Everything. This guy's absolutely shit.
Yeah, we're gonna die, going to 150. No, that is horse shit. I call horse shit. I look like an idiot in front of just complete straight. Yeah, horse shit, nigga. I'm not quite ready to throw in the towel yet, but it is round 5. Dogs are spawning in, and he has yet to open up the second door. He has over 5,000 points. I don't have nearly as much. Oh, look at that. Look at him being a nice guy. He's gonna be a good teammate. That's always what people try to do when they try to look like a good teammate. Are you expecting me to link that? Do you want me to go do that? Cover me. Okay, M50 is bullshit.
What? God, these dogs are on fucking roids, man. Oh! So the multiplayer version of this map, in which it was originally derived from, was called, I think, Nightfire or something along those lines. I can't even imagine playing that multiplayer map. I never did, because I wasn't big into World of War multiplayer whatsoever. But apparently there was a multiplayer map of Doris, basically. Or I guess the zombies version of Nightfire is what I'm playing, however you want to look at it. Of course, I think Doris is a little bit more popular than Nightfire, but it is still really interesting to see that that is where it came from. Which to upgrade? I think I might just roll my MP40, yeah, just because I have no ammo in it currently. No. Insta-kill. What happened to the insta-kill? Oh.
Okay. You let me die. Yeah, I'm quite fucking. Alright, Chad, welcome to the greatest Call of Duty of all time, Black Ops 1. There are over 100,000 players online currently, a decade removed from its launch. That is why it is the greatest Call of Duty of all time. Anyways, I digress. We're going to try to get into a game of Kino Der Toten, which shouldn't be too difficult because this is the launch map. This is easily the most popular map. Oh, there we go. We got Deadbeat Loser 61. Awesome. Alright, well, I'm ready if you are, bro.
Een lange bleed out daar, dat is juist slecht, man. Hoe is het? Hey man, fucking crossbow, man.
A toast to a brilliant weapon.
Is het dat dan?
Time to die now,
Nee.
zombies!
I want the fucking crossbow.
Okay, I've been sitting here for a full minute. This guy has his hand up his ass. Let's try and find a different lobby. Okay, after 15 minutes of twirling my thumbs and doing nothing, we finally got into a game with lifelong guitar. I'm so glad to be here.
All this,
Or female. We never really know what people. It could be either, or maybe there isn't a gender. But
Give me the fucking crossbow.
Oh! Looks like somebody doesn't know how to step away from a barrier while there's a zombie crawling out. Fucking need. I won't judge too much. I mean, everybody's done that. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? I don't even know who's hosting. I don't know if I'm hosting or if he is. But that was bad. That was really bad. Okay. Well, even if this guy is terrible, it is still Kino. It is still a very easy map. I don't see us dying too early. But if the connection continues to trend in this direction, I do see us dying very quickly. So because Kino was the launch map and the most popular Zombies title, it naturally became the most popular Zombies map. I mean, this is probably the most iconic Zombies map to date. Just from familiarity from that standpoint. And playing it in a public match is certainly interesting. I've never even done it before. I'm just getting a boner thinking about this map. Just playing it right now. It's making me nice and erect. And the vibe, it's unmatched, quite frankly. So iconic, so classic. So eerie, successfully survived another dog round, that's good news. Also, he hasn't teleported yet, which tells me he either is a really good teammate or a really bad teammate. I can't tell. Maybe he's just being generous and he's trying to make me get 5 grand. In which case, I appreciate it. Hello? Hello? Wow, okay. That's how it's gonna be, huh? When in doubt, Claymore out. This guy here, provide my good old friend lifelong guitar. Nope, can't do that. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. What? I swear to God. I swear to God. Please just tell me that everybody got into the lobby. Oh God! Oh my God, it's finally loading. Oh my God, it's finally loading. This is not a drill. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Everybody, hold tight. What happened? Please just tell me that this is actually
like a boss, man. Like a fucking boss.
This is the most infuriating thing in the world. Okay, here we are. Thank God. Thank God. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is good. I'm hosting, correct? I think I'm hosting. The Wi-Fi should be good. 5 is one of the most challenging maps Zombies has to offer. In a public match, I can't imagine this boding well for any of us. There is a Winter's Howl, and that is it. Winter's Howl, as we all know, is easily one of the worst ones Well done. Oh my God, I can't wait to see how the Pentagon Deep round unfolds. That must be a very terrifying experience. Oh, look at that though. Everybody's coordinating. Everybody got in here and then he waited to press it. How courteous. I want to do it. I want to put the switch. I want to do it. It's doing me. Ah, yes. Everybody get in here. Everybody get ready. Oh, I don't have a lot of ammo. You know what? I'm kind of scared right now. I'll go left thing. They totally just left me without any regret whatsoever. They're totally just the greatest zombie species of that. That's so crazy. No. Whoa! This is round 7. It's ought to be the round where everybody gets just molested by this scientist. Hold me JFK, I'm scared. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why am I so nervous right now? I am genuinely nervous right now. I'm so anxious. Because I don't even have my friends to talk to calm me down so quick. Oh, he's coming for me first. Of course he's coming for me first. Okay, take my AK. I only have 19 bullets. Only 19. Oh my god. I am playing with professionals. Oh my god. How cool would it be if we killed the Pentagon Thief before it even touched any of us and we got a bonfire sale in a public lobby? Do you think that's even possible? I wonder. That'd be so cool. I like the sound of any of this. I'm just gonna sit here like a duckling, waiting to get bullied. Oh, hi. Oh my god, he just took my ray gun. He just took my fucking ray gun. I swear to God. I swear to God. Oh, Captain Ghost. Thank you so much. So it seems like everybody's holding up. Oh, I was about to say it seems like everybody's holding off on Pack-a-Punch. Nope, not Purple Waves. He was like, nah, fuck you, fam. Alright, well, I'm cool with that. I may not have a lot going for it, but it does have the challenge and the fun combo going for it. It's a lot like Verrocked and Shangri-La, where it's just so fucking hectic. There's just so much going on. That's what makes it so fun. Especially with friends. I'm not necessarily playing with friends right now. I mean, I consider Purple Waves and Captain Ghost friends, but you get what I mean. This is a map that I just have so many fucking memories on, and it's games exactly like this that created those memories. That's what I love about these videos. I'm gonna grab some quick revive. My buddy is down. Let's see if I can maneuver my way over there. I don't know where he is. Possibly. Okay, right over here.
Alright, who wants to try and take me?
That quick revive's coming over there. Oh, he died too, but he grabbed the nuke, so that's clutch. I love how we're all in the war room because everybody in this war room knows that the war room is the place to be. I'm proud of all of us. So proud of us. This is probably going to go down as one of the better games in this video. Oh, it's another Pentagon Thief round. Every Pentagon Thief round is a highlight. Okay. Oh boy. Alright. Just plant down some claymores. Just get cracked. Alright, shoot the clench. Oh wow, they took care of it for me. Wow. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I keep cugging these guys and just taking the death. What's going on? He's up there and he's revived. The elevator seems to not be working at the moment. Is he coming down with... Oh, okay. Okay. Revive him. I'm gonna have to go make an extra visit down there. I can't flush this out so good. Hop over. Bam. No, not Tim, not Tim. Tim died. No.
Oh, bitch ass bitch.
Why did I just do what I did?
Bitch ass bitch.
Game over. That was a very successful public lobby game. 27 rounds on one of the hardest maps of all time. Oh, thank Christ. Jameson 744567. I think that's something I know what you're call. He's ready.
Why am I so heavy now?
It's a miracle. The game's actually about to start. Oh, please don't leave. Just you and I. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work, Jameson. Alright, you get downstairs, I'll go with you upstairs. I'll go take care of them upstairs. We got each other. I don't want to speak too soon, but it seems like this guy has some sort of general understanding of zombies. You know, he doesn't seem completely oblivious so far. He seems like he's got his head on his shoulders over there. So I trust him. I'm going to put my faith into him. Although I will say, he just kind of walked upstairs and started stealing all my kills. So I'm just going to come downstairs and give him the same taste of medicine. I don't know what this guy's strat is, but, oh, we already opened up the door. I was going to be generous and come over here and open up the door. Fine. I will go over here and I'll open up the second door. It's even more expensive, but I'll do it for us. I think I'm also going to pick up I'm frozen. I'm frozen. Oh, god damn it. Are you kidding me? Let's see how many people are playing Call of Duty right now. I doubt any at all. Ooh, okay. We got XTBG, Lil BX, and Mr. Shark 1956. Oh my god, we got a full lobby now. Mr. Awesome Pants 8. 8 years old. I like Call of the Dead, but it's nowhere near one of the most popular maps. I'm surprised there's this many people trying to play this map right now. I mean, it's a good map, don't get me wrong, but Call of the Dead. Online, full lobby. What's up, boys? I usually never do this, but I think I'm just going to pick up the M14 and the safety valve because I'm not sure how far we're actually going to get along here. I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to coordinate everything, so I may as well just have a little bit of protection. Yeah, this kid is just constantly fucking shooting George. It is the most annoying thing in the world. I am not able to just move for 5 seconds without him getting pissed off. You know what? I'm just going to keep doing it. Everybody just start doing this. Mr. Shark going to turn on power.
Oh, dude, epic gamer moment. He turned on power. You know what, though? I am actually super grateful that I was able to get a genuine game in here on Call of the Dead of all now. Oh my god, Mr. Awesome Fest just got fucked. Anyways, I'm glad of all maps in Black Ops 1 I got to get a full lobby on my favorite one. Hopefully I can reconnect. I'm glad Call of the Dead was the chosen one. You know, I will say, there is something beautiful about playing a game without any expectations. Just a fun, casual experience with random people. You don't have anything to really look forward to other than just survival itself. It's essentially the goal of zombies ultimately, you know? It's pretty cool about Black Ops 1. No. Oh, no, save me! Oh, no, I saved you, but you don't save me! No. Oh, God, this is just a vicious cycle. Oh, he left the game. So help me, God, if you don't stop knifing George, I'm gonna come over there and chop off your dick. I am trying to not get cornered. Not get cornered. No! He gets to run in the water and I don't. What about privilege? No way. No fucking way. He just got me up. Mr. Shark. Wait, you're telling me nobody opened up to the box yet? I'm the first one to get here. Interesting. We're such a unit. Oh my god, I'm so proud of us. We're sticking together. For the most part, we're doing good. Guys. A little bit of help over here. I have a lousy MP5, and there's quite a few of them. Insta-kill, that pretty much saved us. I'm covering this barrier, this guy's covering the front, the other guy's covering the other barrier. We're a fucking unit. Oh no! George is with us! Run! Abandon ship! There's absolutely no way we are killing George, by the way. He has 750,000 HP, and he might even have 1 million, depending on whether or not his HP is still from the beginning when we had the fourth guy. There is no way we're going to be able to... Did I think I'd get to this point? No. I didn't.
I will have to see with the bosses, and I got him.
Over there and help him just with holding the fire cell. Oh my god, what a fuckfest this has just turned into. Oh my god. Should I invest in quick revive? It's becoming a genuine question. Are you going to cover me? Are you going to cover me? Or you're not going to cover me? That is game over. We all just died. I spent so much time trying to get into a match on Shangri-La that I had to tweet out to everybody that if you're on Xbox, try to find me in the public matches. I absolutely cannot find any single person playing Shangri-La in a public match. I don't blame anybody because this is actually one of the worst maps to play in a public lobby. And if I get into a game, I will show you why.
3 days later.
Thank God. We got a full lobby. Jesus Christ. I am so moist. No! We're finally in a game of Shangri-La. This is interesting. I didn't actually think I was going to get this far. I didn't think I was actually going to get this far. So what's interesting about public matches in Shangri-La is that you can't pack a bunch unless every single person in the match is stepping on one of the 4 stones. And obviously without communication, that can prove difficult. Shangri-La is one of the last maps you want to play in a public match for that reason.
Motherfucker.
Oh god, it's baseball. I can't even tell if that's my fault now. I don't even have people plugged in, I swear to God.
Motherfucker.
I'm over now.
Oh god, that is so unfair. Oh my god. Yeah, nobody said this was going to be a totally clean video. I'm still all over the place right now. What is happening to me? I'm having some sort of major stroke. Okay, this kid is hosting. This kid is the problem. We are all on shit internet. Oh no, Shangri-La. Majority rules. Paul's not ready.
Good sir.
Let Paul get ready. Alright boys, we got Joe. We're trying to stay here and survive.
Thank God. Quick reloads.
Because everybody has to be on that teleport. Every single person. So if one person slacks, we all pretty much get stuck here and most likely die. There we go. Oh wow. Joe, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Det var spännande.
He's falling apart very quickly. Hey, I'm actually done talking to these guys. So is that a yes or a no to reviving you? You know, I'm gonna give it my best effort here. Oh, that is tragic. Listen, Chris is my dad. I'm not friends. I hate getting mistaken with my own dad. You know how difficult it is to get out from the shadow? Oh, you guys should pick up the MPO.
the greatest gun in this game. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god, somehow.
Hey.
Somehow. I'm at the biodome.
What the fuck? Is it?
Yeah, okay. I was talking to guys, and I have nothing left to say.
I need to fucking go, nigga.
Oh good. I got the FNFAL.
Fuck you.
Oh god damn it. I see, this is what happens when I'm a team player.
Okay,
Oh no, I'm disconnected due to a transmission. Well, he flat out and yeah, Ramming was
good weapon.
Stealing kills. Coming out.
Hold on, let's log on.
I can't tell if the gameplay is lagging on his end or my end. He's got a stakeout, of course. He's doing a little bit of here. Taking his way. Forward. So you don't get trapped. You're fucking teleporting on your ass. You're trapped. You definitely space bomb. He's doing it. He's got a stakeout and he's doing it. He's maneuvering around the boys. Although he's really got to watch his back. Because if there's one thing that happens in a zombie apocalypse, when you turn your back, zombies sneak up on him. How is he not dead? That looks like he should have gotten hit. Interesting. Left. Right. Right.
Oh, you need where?
Okay, I'm in third person right now, and it doesn't really look like third person. It looks like I'm above him. No, don't go that way. I don't even see it. Turn around. First, this is third. This is so weird. No. This is the weirdest perspective I've ever seen of anybody. Wow, is that not game over? Right, he's still alive.
Oh, fucking
insane. Does he have a mod on or something? What? What?
Dit wordt een lastige man.
Ignore him. Keep going. Just push forward.
Denk je wel?
Alright, it's out there.
Weet niet wat dat is, die code.
Oh my crikey, mate, he's going to skin the boys. Just wait. I would have waited for them to come to you. Oh, we got the dragon off. Or the jacking off, is what my 12-year-old friends know.
Wat doet die cola dan? Net shot iedereen dood of zo.
Yeah, AK-74 behind you if you want that. It's not content with that. There's a pistol. You got Durst on him. Oh my god. This guy's actually dead. Oh, it's a space grenade. Hit him. Yeah. It's a space grenade. You want to know about it? No, really.
Okay then.
Oh my god, I'm back. I didn't know if that thing to I'm just gonna go and China Haxanaya right back to square one. Oh my god. I don't know why I'm playing so poorly. I got trapped. There was this fucking salty sheriff here blocking the whole entrance. And then all the nobles came up from behind me. It's so weird. Oh, that's Good effort. I'm gonna go and beat myself off and see you guys later. Okay, boys and girls, if you made it this far into the video, pat yourselves on the back. You deserve it. We're gonna be playing some Black Ops 2 now, and of course, we are gonna kick everything off with Tran Shit. Online with complete strangers. This is not a map I want to play by myself or with my own friends, let alone complete no-micers. So, this is going to be awesome. And no, I'm not going to be playing Bus Depot and Transit and every individual map. I'm just going to be running the entirety of Transit. That way we can get through it quickly. Hello. That is easily the quickest I've gotten into a full lobby in this entire video so far. That is remarkable. Transit, of all maps, everybody's eager to play. If this game even goes remotely the way I think it's going to go in my head, this is going to be golden content. This is going to be the best zombies game of all time. I'm so excited for this. Let's build the turbine, boys.
Everybody knows how to do that, right? Black Ops 2 has been out for a while. That's step one. We got the turbine built. I'm so proud of us for fucking doing it. Oh, he grabbed that. Now, I wonder what he's going to do with that part. That can be used in a multitude of different ways. And hopefully he's smart and uses it to get galvanized. I feel like I'm not going to see the bus very much in this game. How did you already die? Oh no, Dire Wolf game 697 timed out. This guy committed one of the greatest sins you can commit on transit, which is putting this part right here. That is completely waste. They're not even going to be able to get the galvanized now.
Yeah, fucking shit.
Oh, you know what's going to be interesting? I am curious as to whether or not these guys have a lot of points stacked up in the bank.
Yeah, fucking sniper point, man.
Oh, bro, he just pulled the SMR.
May wear diapers, but we get all the ladies, eh?
Guy number 2 gets dual wheel 5-7. I think I'm going to play it safe and grab the MP5. I'd rather do that than spin the box and potentially get one of the very many bad guns in this game. Have fun. I'm staying here. Honestly, I don't feel like going. Please turn on power if you can. I will see you never again. I guess I'm the alpha of this lobby. I guess whatever Tim says goes. I can imagine a lot of you guys watching this video probably have fond memories playing this map. It's a weird thing, I know, especially since this map requires a lot of coordination, but I feel like if you were to play Transit, it would be in a public lobby, just because of the sheer chaos it would provide. Because we all know that Transit is a dog shit map, but can still be fun, given all the chaos. That's exactly what public map is for. Thanks. Yeah, I wasn't really... No, he's attacking your turbine. All the way over... Oh, is the bus back? The bus is back. Wow, look at that. Miraculous timing there. Let's grab this max ammo, and honestly, I am going to leave now. Clearly, whatever I say goes. Because I got on the bus and they got on the bus as well. Or maybe they're just smart. Oh, are you fucking Oh, Ted's having a seizure. Not going well, not going well. Oh, I died. Oh, he's down. Oh, no. Nuke! So clutch. So clutch. Where are you? Oh, he's far gone. I don't care about that guy. He is across the entire map. I thought he was here with us. Well, I'll get you up. I think that's only fair since he saved my life. Oh, well, he's back with us. At least there's that. Did the Oh, God. Does that mean the game is over?
Oh.
Okay. Okay, cool. We're still in the game. No, that was totally my fault. Oh, our trains collided. That was a recipe for death if I've ever seen it. Okay. I'm gonna try to... What the... God damn it, are you kidding me? He left? Why is everyone host but me? I'm here alone. Screw this. I'm not playing Transit alone. Let's see how many people are playing Nuketown at the moment. Not the most popular map, I'd imagine. 20 people. Alright. Maybe we can find a lobby. Oh, we did immediately. Black Ops 2 is really good with public maps. Well, I guess that makes 3 of us. 3 teams and a 5. 3 musketeers. I know the sniper is stand up. Okay, somebody left. Well, I'm totally cool with it. Well, I guess I'm just smelly or something. Oh, well, hello, pretty Taurus 87. And a Nova Sniper again. After you ditched me. Dude, the same people keep joining and leaving. Do I smell bad? Like, what is wrong with me? You guys don't love me the same way I love you. Well, if this goes anything like that Transit game, a lot of people are just going to straight up leave after they get frustrated. Although this map is not nearly as tedious. Okay, I am just receiving ear rape at the moment. Wow, that needs to stop. I gotta say though, this is one of the best maps to play in a public lobby. It requires pretty much zero communication. There's nothing to do but survive, like the World of War maps and the Black Ops maps. We haven't really gotten to Black Ops 3 or 4 yet, where there are just a bunch of quests where you need to coordinate with one another. Still into the whole classic, fun survival sort of side of zombies. We're gonna beat you off.
Who the fuck gonna that mess?
3R gang. Oh shit! Okay, it's Pac-a-Thon. That's not one of the best things to get there.
Off your ass.
There is no doubt in my mind that we're going to be getting jugged very last. That just seems to be how it works when you actually want a perk or want something to drop down. You don't get it. Oh, I want this one. I want this one. Go away. Go away. There's more than one box. Oh, he just took the box there. Did he? I don't know if he did. Oh, he got the Mark II. I'm gonna go fly. Okay, he's alive. Thank God. I was fully intending on spinning the box until I got the SMR. And I didn't get another spin. Wow, this is just tragedy after tragedy. Well, of course, the second I fight Galvies, it is now insta-kill. I love the timing of the universe. Somebody revive me. Or not revive me. Somebody cover me. I died and so did everybody else. All at the same time.
Het was kapot snel. Misschien dit wapen toch wel mijn G-wapen, boy.
No, don't. You. Why is it so easy to get into a public match
on Black Ops 2. I don't understand. Getting into a public match on World War Black Ops 1, that was a nightmare, truly, but now it's hopefully going to get easier and easier over time with the more modern the game gets. Skyrise is easily the worst map of all time, at least one of them. I hate it with everything in my being. But it should be interesting in a public match. I can't imagine it being much different than Transit. It's just going to be hectic, and everybody's going to get angry and probably rage quit, myself included. I have less than zero interest in building anything, so if you guys want things built, lol. Okay, looks like this guy's doing it. Oh no, not Geo, the chosen one. Oh, let's put him down there. I don't know about that. I don't know. Should I save him? Oh shit, what the fuck is this?
Bumping, good.
Dude, that made it fit so thick. Do it. That's down.
Boy, what is this?
Sorry, I hate that. That's okay, because we're going to transition right into the greatest map of all time, I'll be dead. Hypothesis. Excellent, everybody got up and left. Oh, cool, I got you. I'm ready, bros. We got Ed Plum 516, Apropet Muffin 86, and Red Wham Bear.
Oh.
This is the first map of this entire video thus far that requires genuine coordination, genuine communication to get everything done. It is so routine heavy. The amount of things you have to do, the amount of parts you have to grab. You really got to be on your A game on this map, and a lot of maps going forward now. So we're starting to drift away from the purely survival-based fun of zombies. We're getting into the quests and the big missions and Easter eggs that the modern zombies has to offer. So we'll see how this goes. At least one thing is going. Hey, this is my barrier, you cuck. I will fucking kill you. I will actually kill you. This guy is just a giant douche. He is just following me and taking every kill he possibly can. Really? Really? Is that actually how we're going to play this right now? This is tough. I don't know if I should be reviving him or not. I don't know if he's close to death or not. He should probably scream at me to revive him if he wants me to revive him. Okay, he's dead.
Fuck this ain't good.
What? Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't expect that.